Hello, this is your weekly Space News Roundup for the 28th of March 2021, read by me, Philip Day, of giant-leap.space. In today's episode, the UK government makes a huge announcement on a future spy satellite constellation, plus the UK Space Agency splits £1 million into 5 for international projects spanning Mars, astronomy, and weather forecasting. GK launch services boost UK-controlled ELSA-d mission by Astroscale. RSM UK and SpaceTec partners have completed an independent review of the UK space industry with encouraging results. CANZUK International announced a report into a joint space agency whilst working exclusively with Giant Leap on an in-depth article on the subject, which we published midweek to our Patreons and is now available to the wider public. Link in the description, of course. We ask you to support our continued content creation by sharing this news roundup with a friend who might also be interested, and commenting on what you're looking forward to over the next 12 months in spaceflight. And the hashtag Job of the Week is joined by another 3 massive headlines in another exciting and action-filled week for the UK space industry. This week, we interviewed Mark Sefton, Head of Earth Sciences at Imperial College London, about the incredible astrobiology work going on in his labs, which are linked to both the Mars Perseverance mission and the meteorite which famously landed in Gloucestershire earlier this month, as well as co-founder of Ivona Space Recruitment Agency, Jack Madley, who this week announced a post-lockdown office to open in the United States. I can't wait to bring you the details of those 2 incredible conversations. The UK government announced a new spy satellite constellation to conduct ISR, or Intelligence, Surveillance and Reconnaissance. Ben Wallace MP is Defence Secretary, who announced as part of his Defence Review to Parliament this week that he is to prioritise a portion of £6.6 billion investment for research, development and experimentation over the next 4 years alone. The UK already operates military communications satellites built by Airbus Defence and Space, known as Skynet. Nope, not that Skynet. We're waiting for more details on the new constellation, and we'll be sure to run a detailed article on the satellites and what they mean for the UK space industry as information becomes available. GK Launch Services launched a Soyuz 2 from Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, carrying over 30 satellites, including the much celebrated ELSA-d mission from Astroscale. Astroscale is a USA/Japan company with the mission headquarters based in the UK, as regular Giant Leapers will know. The mission was successfully delivered into orbit this week, and Dave Herbert, Vice President of Global Marketing and Communications at Astroscale, reached out to confirm to Giant Leap that despite the launch being a very exciting moment for all the global media, ELSA-d is just getting started. The mission has received a lot of attention, and we definitely owe you a detailed description of the mission and why it is so important. The key headlines, though, are that space is increasingly full of dangerous debris. If it moves to a state of steadily getting worse, to a point where access to space becomes impossible, this is known as Kessler syndrome. And UK Managing Director and COO of Astroscale, John Auburn, is passionate to ensure that access to space remains possible, safe and sustainable, led by the United Kingdom. The UK government is playing a major part in this. The real issue is that we need better regulation, Auburn said. The government is in control because they provide operations licenses for ELSA-d, for OneWeb and more. The UK is the largest contributor to ESA's space safety programme. All of these statements culminate in an ambitious but not unreachable goal for the $108 billion a year satellite industry to be led by a United Kingdom which manufactures, launches, operates and deorbits satellites from the UK. An independent review of the UK space industry was carried out by RSM UK and SpaceTec partners at the behest of the Scottish Highlands and Islands enterprise. HILE is responsible for boosting the economic success of some of the most remote and rural parts of the United Kingdom, supporting or directly operating enterprises such as airlines and airports to keep the islands of Scotland connected to the rest of the nation. They're important supporters of the UK space industry in Scotland too, and this report, which they have commissioned, strongly suggests that the UK, and Scotland in particular, are well placed to benefit from the rapid growth of the international and domestic satellite markets. The report highlights the fact that presently 96 nations operate satellites, but only 6 have launch capacity today. The UK is poised to become the 7th in the world and the 1st in Europe. A note here, the European Space Agency has launch capacity in South America thanks to French Guiana spaceport at Kourou. French Guiana is an overseas department of France, which is their version of an overseas territory of the United Kingdom, such as the Falklands Islands, the British Indian Ocean Territory, or Pitcairn Island. The report suggests that spaceports alone could generate up to £350 million in revenue, whilst around £4 billion could be generated in overall launch revenues in a welcome boost to the United Kingdom economy. Ian Annett, who is Deputy CEO for Programme Delivery at the UK Space Agency, said, "Our aim is to grow the UK's global market share of the space sector to 10% by 2030, and UK Government is working closely with colleagues in Scottish Government, innovation and enterprise agencies to maximise the opportunities offered by launch from Scotland and ensure the benefits are shared right across the UK." However, the UK Space Agency is expecting to publish their own research on the size and potential demand for small satellite launch from the UK before the end of the summer. Support for a future alliance between Canada, Australia, New Zealand and the United Kingdom, known as CANZUK, continues to gain momentum. The UK and Australian governments this week mentioned a strong possibility that relaxation of migration rules between the two countries could enable professionals and young people to live and work in the nations more easily, including permanent residency after a period. This comes just weeks after the UK-Australia Space Bridge Agreement was signed, and the two countries continue to work closely on a global space agenda. The CANZUK International Lobbying Team have taken the idea a step further and have commissioned a report into the possibility, usefulness and ultimate shape of a CANZUK space agency. Fortunately, here at Giant Leap, we have you covered. We worked with the industry experts and the CEO of CANZUK International, James Skinner, to develop a mini-documentary on a CANZUK space agency, which we released early to our Patreon supporters at the beginning of the week and to the wider public this weekend. If you don't already, I strongly recommend following us over on Patreon, where there is loads of useful space news content alongside deep dive articles and documentaries. Head over to patreon.com/giantleap to find out more for free. The UK Space Agency released a spaceport brochure this week highlighting only 7 of the UK's prospective locations in what became a slightly controversial move. A guide to the UK's commercial spaceports was published on the 24th of March under their #LaunchUK banner, to the consternation of some UK space businesses, which the UK Space Agency deems as at a low technological readiness level, or TRL. Companies such as Black Arrow Space Technologies are working to develop launch capacity for the United Kingdom and, in their case, to operate from a sea launch platform based in Wales. Mike Curtis-Rouse is head of manufacturing for space, launch vehicles and on-orbit manufacturing at the Satellite Applications Catapult based in Harwell in Oxfordshire, and funded by the European Space Agency. He explained, "This isn't about what companies can do or might be doing. UKSA has to work with what they know, and hence why they've included those specified within the brochure. We can't know what all companies are doing, but I have a healthy engagement with the majority of small LV and larger companies across Europe, and we, Catapult Westcott, UKSA, etc., are actively supporting many." Curtis-Rouse went on to reassure brochure skeptics that updates are planned, and companies which didn't make the cut this time are not barred from inclusion in the future. UK-controlled OneWeb completed Launch 5, sending another 36 broadband-enabling satellites into a polar orbit this week. The company now has 146 satellites in orbit, which have already provided impressive speed testing results. OneWeb expects to expand testing into the UK this year as they continue with their 5 to 50 launch campaign, boosting the number of satellites in their constellation by several hundreds as they rapidly deploy towards commercial operations. The European Space Agency has awarded 2 Scottish launch companies over €10 million to share. Skyrora and Orbex both plan to launch liquid rockets from the Scottish Highlands, with testing progressing at pace. Skyrora was awarded €3 million, whilst Orbex received €7.45 million. €450,000 is due to be spent in Portugal, but a full €10 million is to be spent within the UK, promoting the testing regimes of both of these rocket companies. Many congratulations to both teams for securing the sort of funding that the UK Space Agency alone cannot dish out. Just one of the many reasons why the UK membership of the European Space Agency can be beneficial to UK business. OpenCosmos is a UK satellite designer and manufacturer who launched 2 satellites this week. The Harwell-based business designed and built 2 nanosatellites who were part of the rideshare we reported earlier, carrying Astroscale's mission and are designed to support the Internet of Things in the business's mission to democratize space. OpenCosmos CEO Rafael Yorda described the launch as a major milestone for OpenCosmos, demonstrating the capacity of low-cost satellites to provide IoT connectivity to remote parts of the world and collect data. Their mission is enabled by another UK specialist, Oxford Space Systems, whose Helix antenna already has flown space experience and flies again on these two spacecraft in support of the Lacuna Space IoT connectivity network. Finally, before the job of the week, the acclaimed Astro Agency Spacebar networking event celebrated 1 year in style. ESA astronaut and UK hero Tim Peake was one of 3 top guests at the virtual event which took place on Friday evening, alongside Dr. Kevin Fong, consultant anaesthetist and television presenter of the BBC4 series How to Survive in Space, and Ian Annett, who we mentioned earlier as Deputy CEO for Programme Delivery at the UK Space Agency. For this week's hashtag Job of the Week, the UK Space Agency has made the cut again this week, advertising for a senior space systems engineer at SEO level within the civil service. As always, the direct link to the job listing is in the description. Check out the link to that job opportunity by searching hashtag Giant Leap and hashtag Civil Service on LinkedIn. To see our Job of the Week 24 hours before we publish here on the Roundup, subscribe to our Patreon page where numerous perks of membership include this Space News Roundup a day in advance. Your support of the channel is absolutely amazing, and it is that which drives the continued improvement on the production of the weekly news roundup and all our content. Please do also consider dropping us a note through the comments if there's anything you think we should know. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn or your favourite social media platform by searching hashtag Giant Leap, and if you listened on Apple Podcasts or anywhere else where you can rate us, please do consider giving us a giant 5-star rating. It would be so appreciated, and of course, it's free. Thanks for checking in, and until next time, remember that every giant leap is set up by thousands of small steps. You have been listening to a giant-leap.space news roundup.